everyone. It's the morning after the night before. What a disaster yesterday, getting beat in that game after, as so many people have said, we thought we'd turned a corner. Again, this is a pre-recorded show. It's not live. It's actually, I'm recording this just after midnight the night before. Sorry, obviously the night after the game, but the night before it's going to go up. It's going to go up in the morning. I've had a lot of people onto me already saying Scott McTominay was poor. I don't know why people pick on. Sometimes people have got something in their heads about certain players, and no matter what happens, they look at that player and say that player was the worst player or one of the worst players. I've just studied the first half. As I say, it's just after midnight, and only because of that, I've just studied the first half. I haven't had time to study the full game. I've got absolutely no doubt in my mind, having studied that first half, that Scott McTominay was our best player. A lot of people might switch off. But when I say our best player, he didn't have much to compare. Didn't have much to compare at all. The back four, I'm not really looking at the back four. Luke Shaw played well. The back four was just okay. I'm not really criticising the back four. The front six, non-entities up front, Rashford and Greenwood can't get hold of the ball. I've counted the poor passes. 3 poor passes in the first half by Fred compared to none by McTominay. He didn't give the ball away not once in the first half. He did try and cross a ball that didn't get off the ground really and went straight to one of their players. But he also won that ball. He was the only player in the first half who won the ball off one of their players in their third. So he did well in one instance, but then tried to cross it. It didn't come off the ground. It went and it got cleared. He won a good header in his own box. He also look. We really are clutching at straws here. But when you say somebody had a poor game, surely you've got to be comparing him to other people. So there's no point saying he was poor when he wasn't poorer than the other players. He played one really good pass into Rashford's feet from like a 35 yard pass. It was the best pass by any of our midfield players into the forwards' feet. He was the only player who won a ball back in their half and actually tried to put a cross in the box, although the cross was poor. And as I say, he didn't give the ball away. There was lots of simple passing by the likes of Fred and McTominay and by Pogba. But Pogba and Fred both gave it away a few times, and McTominay didn't. Obviously, Bruno was trying a few of his tricky passes, long passes, balls around the corner, gave it away regularly, Bruno. I'm going to speak about one or two of the things that the pundits said. I've made a few bullet points to go at. So this will come up again shortly. But you have to. It's only fair when criticising a given player that you're criticising him based on his performance in comparison to other people's performances. And although, like I say, there wasn't a lot of competition in the first half, and I've only watched the first half so far, I'm going to watch the second half again in the morning. I've got to do my player ratings tomorrow afternoon. But in the first half, Pogba, pretty poor. Fred, pretty poor. Rashford, pretty poor. Greenwood, pretty poor. Bruno, probably even more than pretty poor. McTominay, just okay. Now you might say it's all right passing lots of simple passes. This will come up again as people spoke about that on the TV, which I'm going to mention. But they all play lots of simple passes. Maybe it would be better if they all played simple passes and we kept hold of the ball. So criticism of McTominay, certainly of what I've seen so far for the first half, is bang out of order. He was the pick of the 3 midfield players or 4 midfield players and the 2 strikers. He was the pick of the players. Not a lot of competition, as I say, but he was. So anyway, I've picked a few bullet points. So what I've done is I've been listening to what the pundits have been saying and different things in commentary, and I've just made a few points here. Like I say, after 27 minutes, for example, and this will lead me to speak about different things in the game. 27 minutes gone. I was interested that Gary Neville said that United have been a little bit better in the last 5 minutes. The only reason I'm mentioning that is he was more or less right about that. But Gary's a United fan just like we are, Gary obviously wants them to be better and wants them to dominate the game and wants them to play well. Of course he does. So sometimes you think it's been a bit better than it actually has. And I don't think we were actually on top for 5 minutes. But once we'd been on top for 2 or 3 minutes, he said it was 5 minutes. But that was 27 minutes gone. And the only reason I'm mentioning that is because I couldn't believe how badly we started. I mean, Arsenal absolutely dominated the play. Completely for the first 20 minutes. We just couldn't get out of our own half for, well, virtually all of the first 20 minutes, and then sort of 25 minutes we just started to get a little bit of a foothold in the game. The 36th minute, Gary said it's not like the other night, obviously referring to the Leipzig game. I couldn't disagree with him more. This is another thing about, you know, I know Gary's played. I don't care that Gary's played for England, and he might have, I don't know how many title medals he's got, 6 or 7 title medals, maybe more. I'm not sure, but he couldn't be more wrong. It was exactly like Wednesday night. What? Just like any other supporter, he's thinking, "Oh wow, great, we won 5-0 the other night. It was brilliant," and it was in the end. 4 of the goals came in the last 15 to 20 minutes, though, when we'd made a few subs and the opposition were tiring a little bit. But for the first hour, and this is the 36th minute, don't forget, for the first hour, we could hardly get in the game against Leipzig. Now, what I was about to say, luckily, when I say luckily, it wasn't a lucky goal. It was a lovely run by Pogba the other night and a lovely pass to Greenwood and a great finish. When I say lucky, I don't mean lucky in as much that the goal was lucky. I just mean, luckily, that happened. It just happened to happen. On another day, Greenwood might hit the post. On another day, Pogba might not even get that ball. But we did manage to get a goal in the first half the other day. But apart from getting that goal, the first 36 minutes today was exactly like the first 36 minutes. You know, if he was to mention it after the game that it wasn't like Wednesday night, then obviously it wasn't like Wednesday night. But after 36 minutes, it was exactly like it was. Gary couldn't be more wrong on that comment. So people do get a bit carried away with results when the results finish up as they do. And then 49th minute, another point. I've got a few half-time mentions. I'll go back to the half-time ones. In the 49th minute, just as the game had started, United had changed to, he said 4-2-3-1, Gary. So he's inferring that McTominay and Fred was still on at the time, had gone like as the 2 defensive midfield players. Then he's talking about 3 players being just in front, and the 3 players being just in front being Greenwood, Bruno, and Rashford, would it be? Rashford would be up top, wouldn't he? No, Greenwood. It would have been Greenwood, Bruno, and Pogba with Rashford up top. Now, really, I didn't see it like that. I saw it as 4-4-2, and I think one of the commentators might have said that. They had Greenwood on the right, they had Fred and McTominay in the middle, and Pogba to the left. And that'll come up again after about what somebody else said in a minute. So that was your midfield 4. When you're defending, you've got to have 4 across the park. So it's all right saying you're in 4-2-3-1. If those 3 don't get back behind the ball, or certainly the 2 wide ones in support of the 2 central midfield players, you know, it's not going to be. You're going to be under pressure, and you're probably going to concede a few goals. It was 4-4-2 or 4-4-1-1. In my opinion. Few things that were said at half-time. Half-time, it was said on Sky that we only had 3 touches of the ball in their penalty area in the first half. It's the fewest amount of touches that United players have had in the opposition's box. Did I say box before? Yeah, the fewest amount of touches we've had in the opposition's box in the first half of a game for 3 seasons at Old Trafford. So that shows you the domination really in the first half that Arsenal had in that game. Jamie Redknapp at half time, he said, this brings me back to the 4-2-3-1 and also the diamond formation that we started with. Jamie Redknapp at half time said that Pogba's staying out on the left so that he can block Bellerin's path, and so that he doesn't have to keep racing out there to get when you know, obviously this midfield diamond idea is that you've got 1 man at the base of it, 1 man at the point of it, and then 1 man slightly to the right and 1 man slightly to the left. but it's too narrow. 4-4-2's better, where you've got natural players and you've got natural width. You need width. Somebody asked me about this on Twitter the other day. I said, you need width when you're defending. And he said, why do you need width when you're defending? Of course, you need width when you're defending, because if their fullbacks overload on the, with the winger onto our fullback, he needs support. Your fullback needs support. So it's up to your wingers to track back and be in position to help your fullback. So what Jamie Redknapp said in the at half time was, Pogba is staying out on the left rather than playing in field as part of the diamond. And he said, and the reason that he's staying out on the left is because each time Bellerin comes forward, he's got to come out to the left to help to stop Bellerin overloading onto Luke Shaw. So he's going out to the left, and if you imagine he's going out to the left, what's the point of running back in only to come back out and then to run back in and then to run back out? So even though nobody sees obviously Paul Pogba's not a left winger, he'll never be a left winger, and loads of people. I actually said against Leipzig, Paul Pogba's playing on the left wing, and people laughed at me. It doesn't matter that you're not actually a left winger. It doesn't matter that you're not running past the full-back. I think he did beat the full-back and put a good cross in at one point, to be fair. But it doesn't matter that you're not doing the natural things that a left winger does. It's just, when you're playing in a position on a football field, it is just a position on the football field. All players can play all positions with different levels of success and different levels of lack of success. Phil Jones could play on the left wing if you want. He knows where it is. That's all it means. So Paul Pogba was playing on the left wing, whether you like it or not, and whether you think he's a left winger or not, which he obviously isn't. So the best way to look at it when you want to see what positions people are playing in is really when the opposition have got the ball, because you do need to be a bit more flexible, and you can drift all over the park at times. Obviously everybody can't, it'd be a mess, but you can drift around a bit when you're attacking. So when you look at the shape of the team when you're defending, that gives you the real idea of who's playing in what position. So the best way to suss out which position Paul Pogba was playing in today was when Arsenal were attacking. When Arsenal were attacking, he was out on the left wing, blocking Bellerin's path and being an aid to Luke Shaw, if you like. Paul Pogba was playing on the left wing, and Jamie Redknapp was spot on. Another thing that Jamie Redknapp said was that Ollie's playing too many midfield players, and he used a phrase that I've been using left, right and centre for a few weeks. He's shoehorning players into the team, basically. He used that exact phrase, shoehorning, and he said, which doesn't always work. When he said it doesn't always work, I've got a sneaky feeling he actually means that it rarely works. It might work on the odd occasion, it might even work for a short spell. But if you've got too many players in your team that are playing out of position, it doesn't work. It tends to work, I believe, more often if you've got lots of injuries or suspensions and people get more determined to do the job and do the job properly if they know you're asking them to play a position because you need them to do you that favour, because you've got players missing. If you haven't got a left back and you ask a right winger to play at left back, he's going to do his absolute darndest to do his best job for you. He really is. But if you've got, say, 2 or 3 right wingers for the job and you've got a couple of left backs that you're not keen on, you ask a right winger to play left back and he'll be thinking to himself, why don't you pick one of the other left backs? So players make more of a fist of it playing out of position when it's an absolute necessity to do so. When it's not an absolute necessity to do so, I don't think you always get absolutely 100% concentration and conviction from that player. And what we're doing at the minute is we're shoehorning play, the exact phrase that Redknapp used that I've been using. Shoehorning players into the team. Unlike what Jamie said it doesn't always work. I would suggest it rarely works. Bit worrying what Keano said, and I've got to agree with him. I just don't know if he means it on that given day or if he means generally, but he said there's a real lack of quality in United's play. Does he just mean today, or did he mean just on the day? I'm not so sure. Keano was fuming, and I think he might He also spoke about enthusiasm in the team. He said a lovely thing about Nobby Styles. What a sad weekend we've had. As I said yesterday, my heart goes out to Nobby Styles' family. Condolences to all the family. And then the news has also come yesterday that Sir Bobby has been diagnosed with dementia. My heart goes out to Sir Bobby and his lovely wife Norma. I had the great pleasure of having a fairly private half hour with Sir Bobby and Norma. It's a bit of a long story, I'll tell it on another day, but I had the great pleasure of spending half an hour with Sir Bobby and Norma, probably 16 years ago or something, for half an hour, and it was pretty private and it was fantastic, and I'll tell that story again. An absolutely lovely couple, wonderful couple who made me so welcome, and I'll speak about that again one day, but it's a sad weekend, and I wish Sir Bobby and the lovely Norma, I wish him well. But I loved what Keno said about Nobby Styles. He said he's 5'6", and he was 5'6". He had the heart of a lion. He said, and I wish we could see more. I don't see that out there. He said, I do not see that out there. He was 5'6", had the heart of a lion, and that's what we need more of. And well said, Keno. And I think you're absolutely 100% right. After the game, Jamie Redknapp talked about Arsenal having the ball. I think he said for about 90 seconds or 100 seconds before they got the penalty, and was really critical of the team. And I think Keno joined in about not getting into people's faces, not trying hard enough to win the ball back. One thing that I want to speak about, really, what Jamie Redknapp said, he particularly pointed out Luke Shaw. Willian got on the ball in the end. This is after, like I just said, maybe 90 seconds of Arsenal having the ball. The ball ended up at Willian's feet on the right wing, or just in field from the right touchline, with Luke Shaw facing up to him. And Jamie Redknapp said, Luke Shaw should be, into him and getting right up to him. And I'm not too sure. I am defending Luke Shaw, but I don't think I'm defending him without a good deal of reason to defend him. Willian's a quick player. He's a tricky player. I've looked at it 2 or 3 times. Luke Shaw looked over his shoulder. He saw that Pogba had Bella in. Then he went out to Willian. Now, when a fullback faces a winger, any winger, but you know that Willian's got a trick. He's got a bit of pace. He's playing for Arsenal. He's not playing for the second division outfit or something. So any winger who's playing for Arsenal is bound to be half right, and we all know about Willian. So what does a fullback do? Does a fullback go right up to a player? If you're a fullback and that's the winger with the ball, and you go right up to him, a little knock past you and he's away, and you can be left looking a bit of a fool, and he can get into a really dangerous position. So you can't do everything. If you don't go really tight to him, he can pass it. But if you do go really tight to him, he can skip past you. It's a fine dividing line. So I'm not sure if Luke Shaw maybe should have gone a bit closer, but I just think getting on to Luke Shaw about it was a bit unfair. You can't do everything. You can get tight. If you do get tight, you might get skinned. If you stay off, Luke Shaw was fine. If you look at it again, he's balanced. He's ready for Willian to do his trick and go one way or the other. And Luke Shaw, you can see he's poised, ready to go whichever way. And he's 2 or 3 yards away from him. You've got to give him, maybe he could have been a bit closer, but you've got to give him at least a couple of yards, I would say. You can't just go right up to him, get skinned, big danger. You can't then, if you're not going to be that close, you can't stop him from passing it. You can't stop everything. So he passes it, and it's then down to whoever the man belongs to that he's passed it to, which was Pogba's man, and what happened. I think criticising Luke Shaw over it was just a little bit unfair. Good point. I loved what Tim Cahill said about Matic. He said he was brilliant when he came on. He said Matic was absolutely brilliant. He was the one that, when he came on, that was really looking to open things up, which I agree with. I think Matic should play more. There's a lot of disrespect on Matic's passing. We need players who keep it simple, more like that. But when I say simple, too many people think that I'm talking about passing it sideways, passing it backwards. There's a stat out there. If you just Google it, Just Google Nemanja Matic line breaking passes. It'll come up. There's lots of stats out there. His forward passes in between midfield players to the forward's feet is the best in the club. It's the best in the club, and that's what you need. You need simple passes, accurate passes into people's feet. And when he came on, Ollie in his, I think he might have gone a little bit over the top, but Ollie in his interview after the game said that he thought Matic got clattered a bit more than the Arsenal player did. Was it Bellerin? He said maybe that should have been a pen. So, I think Nemanja Matic did do well when he came on, and he should play more. I think United play better when Matic plays. Then Gary Neville came on. Gary Neville, he said there's too many midfield players. We've got 6 midfield players, and Ollie's trying to get too many of them. He didn't say too many. He said it's forcing Ollie to play a diamond. It's not forcing Ollie to play a diamond. He needs to show a bit more gumption than that, a bit more metal. You should pick the format, the formation that you want to play, and then put the best players that suit that formation. If you've got enough good players, sometimes the players can make you play the formation, but that's when you've not got options for different positions. United have got plenty of options, absolutely plenty of options. So if you're going to play, he's played a diamond today. He's ended up changing it, as they said, 4-2-3-1. For me, it's 4-4-2. You've got 2 wide players, you've got 2 central midfield players, you've got a number 10 and a number 9. So if you're going to play 4-4-2, it was too late by this stage because obviously he started with a diamond. So, but if you are going to play 4-4-2, you don't want Paul Pogba playing on the left wing. If that means he can't get in the team, then it means he can't get in the team. So, Ollie needs to have a real good think about this. If he wants to forget the diamond morphs into 4-4-2 anyway. If their left backs coming down the flank, the right-sided player's got to go out there. If the left back's coming, the right back's coming down, your left-sided part of your diamond's got to go out there. Also, somebody else shuffles across. It morphs into 4-4-2 when you're defending anyway. Forget the diamond, go to 4-4-2 or 4-4-1-1 and play somebody on the left wing who's comfortable on the left wing. Gary Neville also said he couldn't work out what formation they were playing in the end. There was players everywhere. It ended up a mess, and I couldn't agree with him. Couldn't agree with him more on that. And another dead sensible thing, basically what I've just said really. Gary Neville also said the most talented players don't necessarily make the best team, and trying to fit them all in is not really the way forward. I think he's right. It's all right saying the most talented players. It is also a talent to be able to get the ball on the floor and pass it simple. People seem to think that the most talented players are the ones who are looking for the killer ball all the time. It isn't necessarily true. It's Keano himself. A lot of people don't realise that Roy Keane, he made a career out of controlling the ball well and passing it well. But when I say passing it well, pass to the nearest red shirt. Make yourself available, as I spoke about when I was explaining football philosophy. Give the easy ball, make yourself available, get it again, and give another easy ball. And that is a talent in itself. You don't need too many players, if any, who are trying the glory ball all the time. Now, the team that he picks, when you talk about getting all the best players in the team, obviously Bruno was playing in the team, a fan's favourite. Pogba was playing in the team, a fan's favourite. Greenwood, a fan's favourite. Marcus Rashford, a fan's favourite. Fred, a fan's favourite. And McTominay, who maybe not a fan's favourite. I think I'm right in saying that those 5 players, certainly Greenwood played, certainly Rashford, or Greenwood come on as a sub against Palace, but he got the full second half. So against Palace and against Spurs, where we've got 3-1, got beat 3-1 and 6-1, and today we've got beat 1-0 by Arsenal and really got absolutely dominated. We've had Greenwood, we've had Rashford, we've had Pogba, we've had Bruno playing in those games. So the most talent, it isn't new. What's just happened in, Gary's saying, putting the most talented players in the team hasn't really worked. We've tried it twice already. Well, we've tried it 3 times. They all played at Brighton as well. And although we won at Brighton, let's be honest, they did. They hit the woodwork 5 times, Brighton. We were so lucky to get the 3 points there, it's unbelievable. So it already isn't working, and all he's gone back to it. It's really unbelievable, to be honest. Gary Neville also said, I think this is a bit of a mistake by him. Did we really need McTominay and Matic on the pitch at the same time? To be honest, I think so. I think so. Look, just by throwing on, I mean, what is he thinking here? Is he going to throw on an extra striker, throw on an extra, as we've just spoken about, talented midfield players? McTominay and Matic are the type of players who do get the ball on the floor and give it easy. So did we need another talented midfield player, if you want to call them talented midfield players? Did we need another striker on? I think if we would have just unloaded the midfield and got rid of another midfield player, a proper midfield player who gets behind the ball, to be dead honest, I think Arsenal would have just tore us to shreds and scored another couple of goals, more likely. Look, it can work for you. But what do? If you put an extra forward on and take one of your midfield players off, you can't play football in midfield. You can't afford to even pass the ball into midfield. You can't. If you've only got that one man in there and then you've got an extra forward up top, what you've got to do then, you can't risk it elsewise. You've just got to start lumping balls from back to front so that the forwards can challenge for it. You can't play around with it in the midfield. You haven't got enough players in the midfield. So I'm not too sure he's right about that. Did we need McTominay and Matic in the midfield towards the end? I think so, definitely. Tim Cahill said United should have taken a centre-back off instead of taking Bruno off. Same thing, really. That probably would have led to them scoring more goals. Can't agree with Tim Cahill on that one. And I thought it was a bit unfair of Keano steaming into Tim Cahill. I think he asked him about 4 times how many league games have Arsenal lost. He was, Keano was getting stuck right in. And I've got a feeling he's got a bee in his bonnet about Arsenal. Arteta's doing a good job. Make no mistake about it. They look like they've got a proper shape to them. They work the ball around the pitch well. They know what they're doing. They're well organised. Keano was adamant he wanted to get an answer from Tim Cahill. How many league games have they lost? How many league games have they lost? He asked him about 3 times. How many league games lost? I'll tell you how many they've lost. They've lost 3. Now, I know if Keano was here, he'd jump down my throat and he'd say, they need to stand up and be counted. But this is what I'm going to say. They've already played City away. They've already played Liverpool away. Keano would say, what's that got to do with it? They've got to go to them places, roll the sleeves up and get a result. I know he'd say that, and he's got a point. But I think I've also got a fair point. They've lost 3 league games, but they have played away to City already. They've played away to Liverpool already. So to level the facts at and that they've lost 3 league games, I think is a little bit unfair. I really do. I loved what Keano said about Thomas Partey. I wish he was playing in a red shirt for United. And something that I've spoken about when I speak about the midfield players, I often say, I've spoken about McTominay already earlier on, and a lot of people are saying it should be McTominay and Fred, or it should be Matic and Fred. It's got to be McTominay and Matic. They're both bigger, they're both stronger. Fred's passing is no better. No better at all. And I know he runs around the field and wins a few tackles, but this is what I'm getting to. Keano, twice he said this, that Thomas Partey, big and strong. Big, strong and aggressive. So, he thinks it's important. I think it's important. And so long as you're decent footballers as well, which they obviously are, they're not terrible players, and they're big and strong, and I think it's a big bonus. Don't hold it against big strong players. Big strong players have got an advantage over smaller players who are not so strong. They have got an advantage. He also said about Thomas Partey that he retains possession, and the Arsenal retain possession, and that's the name of the game. And he's dead right with that one. Retain possession. That's what we need to start thinking about. Get players on, and I've just spoke about McTominay. I've counted it. He didn't give the ball away once. He tried a cross into the box, but that's not really a pass. I'm talking about passes. Didn't give the ball away once in the first half. I wish none of our players gave the ball away in the first half. We probably would have been 3-0 up. I know it's not as simple as that, and I know everybody can't keep just passing it simple, but you know, he passed it forward 3 or 4 times. He passes it sideways, but you just got to give the easy ball. Make yourself available. When there's a forward pass on, you pass the forward ball. You can't pass a forward ball if it's not on. Don't try it. Just keep it simple. And he played it the right way. He played it. I'm not saying he's anywhere near as good, but he played like Thomas Partey played. If there's something on, you can give it. If it's not on, give the easy ball. Make yourself available again. Retain possession. As Keno says, that's the name of the game. Yeah, another little thing of Keno said, they've been talking about the Champions League game, he says, during the week. He says, but that's different. The Champions League's not the Premier League and it's different. I'll tell you what's different about it, and I'm not sure if Roy thought about this, but obviously Anthony Martial would have played today for sure if he's fit. Some of the things that get said about Anthony Martial absolutely drives me around the bend. But during the week against Leipzig, he was talking about the fact, or the commentator was talking about the fact that we've played the same shape today. It hasn't worked so well today as it works during the week against Leipzig. Keno said the Champions League is different. I don't think it's because the Champions League is different. I think it's because Matic, Martial and Van der Beek played. Matic, Martial and Van der Beek played on Wednesday night in the same shape, but they're all players who understand the game, who look after the ball well and look for the simple passes. We need more players like Nemanja Matic, we need more players like Donny van der Beek, and we need more players like Anthony Martial. That's what we need. That's why we played better during the week in the same shape. I'll finish off on Anthony Martial. I've obviously just spoken about him. Obviously, he's now finished his suspension in the Premier League. We've got a Champions League game on Wednesday night away in Istanbul, and we're away to Everton next week. The last 2 games, at home against Chelsea and at home against Arsenal, that he's not played in, we've been very, very poor in the final third. Very poor. Hardly created many chances. I'm not suggesting Martial makes all the chances, but Martial holds the ball well. The team plays better when Martial plays. I don't care if he doesn't have a shot on goal. I don't care if he doesn't beat his man. I don't care if he doesn't create a chance. When he plays, we play better. Look at the last 4 games. Chelsea, not great, got a point, not the end of the world. People were going mad last week, but we were worse again today against Arsenal. No goals against Chelsea, no goals today, but he has been able to play in the Champions League games. He played in Paris, we won 2-1. He played against Leipzig, we won 5-0. The difference when Martial plays is unbelievable. Greenwood and Rashford, neither of them, and I've seen people saying this one's better than him and that one's better than him. Neither of them can hold a candle to Anthony Martial. Not at the important things in the game that a striker has to do. Get the ball, hold it, get buffeted from the back, win the odd free kick, get your teammates forward, sometimes twist away from that challenge, pass, get in the box. He's just a different animal. United are a different animal when Martial plays. And I'm going to tell you now what's going to happen. Martial will probably play on Wednesday night, then they'll probably play him against Everton, and the team will play better, and then a couple of goals will go in, either for Rashford or for Greenwood. Maybe they'll get a goal each on one of the games, I don't know. And all the plaudits will be for Marcus Rashford and Mason Greenwood. That's what will happen. And if Martial's not playing, it won't happen. It won't happen if Martial's not playing. We need Anthony Martial in that team, and people need to wake up and realise it. Right, I hope I'm not gone on too long. How long's that got? 33 minutes. That's my longest one yet. I hope you enjoyed the show. If you did enjoy it, tell all your friends. If you didn't enjoy it, keep stum.